Hello folks, welcome to the Whiskered Woodcarver. I'm Jeff C., a visual marketing and live video guy. So this is the show where I sit and carve for about 30 minutes and talk with my friends. So pretty easy, something relaxing that I like to do towards the end of my day, and hopefully you guys will find it a little bit relaxing and soothing during some of these troubled times as well. So we are actually going to be giving away some of the things we've carved. We carved this little Christmas penguin, when we first got started, and so I'll be giving that away at the start of the show. We also have another one. What happens is it was the people who shared it out the most and also were the most creative, and I have got some winners for that, and there may be even an extra surprise in there as well. So we had just finished this little bad boy here, which is one of the first projects I ever carved. It was a little ornament for a little Santa sticking out, and so we finished that up over the weekend. And so we just need to paint it. I'm going to save this. I'm not going to paint it right now. I have another project I want to finish up because I want to be, I don't want to pull out the paints for just one little piece. So we're going to do a couple more before I actually pull out the paints and we do a little painting session again. So let's go right to the carving cam and get started. So here we go. The timer set. And people always ask, why do you have a timer, Jeff? What is that for? And it's mainly, I want to show that how much you can get done in just 30 minutes a day, trying something new, trying a new hobby, and doing something for fun. So, as always, we're going to put on our safety equipment because there is a scar from where I sliced my hand open doing this exact sort of thing. So we'll put on the cut-proof glove, and then I have my little leather thumb guard that I use on my knife hand right there. Pretty easy. And then we'll just sharpen up the old knife. And I love these Helby knives. This is what I like to carve with. I've got some in different sizes. This is kind of the size, the length that I tend to go to quite a bit. So that's when I'm starting. Oh, Rhonda's here. Hey, Rhonda. Hope you had a great day. I know you did a bunch of training. We'll have to talk about that because I'm excited to know what you learned. But Rhonda is... I don't know what your official title is now because it changed, but she is a super smarty over at Kim Garst. She helps run everything over there and is super smart about all things story branding and building funnels. I mean, she's super smart. So glad to have you here, Rhonda. So we're going to sharpen our knife. We always going to put a little bit of sharpening compound on it here. Get it so it takes a little bit of the metal off, and it's just like a hard crayon. I've had this forever and I still have hardly used it, but kind of treat the leather with that, and we'll just do a couple passes on the old leather strop here. And I put my finger over it just so I can control it, and you want to raise it a little bit off of the leather, and I usually do it the same amount on each side. So there we go. So, hey, Rhonda goes, this is perfect recovery for my brain. Yeah, this is a crazy day. Monday, rolling off really fast. So what we're going to do, red leather, yellow leather. I used to have to sing that in choir, Eric Fisher. What we're going to do is this is one of my little projects I did. We've been kind of doing no-seums, which is where you don't have the eyes on stuff, and this is one of my first ones I did with where I actually had eyes. And Rhonda's a painter, but I am not a painter, and I practice a lot getting those eyes right. And he's still, if you look at him, he's a little cross-eyed, but I started this a while back and I never finished it. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish that, so when we do paint, we will not have to pull out our paints just for nothing. But he's still pretty blocky, and so I want to round out the rim of that hat, get some of the top off. He's still not perfectly round, and this is a great project to start with if you ever want to start with something. The hat can be a little tricky, and also not accidentally snipping off the nose there. A lot of guys will actually not even worry about that, and they'll whittle down a little piece, and then they'll drill it and glue it in. And so if all goes well, we won't have to do that. So anyway, we're just going to have to keep rounding this out. And I just kind of keep turning it while I'm doing it. So, and getting things round is probably the hardest thing I have to do. And this hat, you gotta be real careful so you don't snip it off too much. Carrie goes, I'm perfectly round. I went walking today to try to take some of my roundness off. Don't know how well it worked though. So I need to still flatten this. Now this one, because it's a thicker piece of wood, I did cut out on the bandsaw before I started carving it. So this is one that I actually had a pattern for and did that way. So you can see it's still kind of, I need to take some off the sides here to kind of round it down a little bit. The problem sometimes when you're going with the grain, it'll split in a way that you don't want it to. So we'll just kind of keep rounding her down. And I'll try to probably do the brim of the hat towards the end, round it, because I always get nervous about splitting it off. So here we go. Let's see here. Alrighty. So the topic of the day is like, what is the best business advice you have ever gotten? So Eric, if you're watching at home, what's some of the best big business advice you've had? Yes, Little Snowman Lisa, how are you doing today? Hope you had a good day. So Lisa, what's the best business advice that you have been given? I gotta move this so people can see what we're working on. I think mine, I don't know who told me this, and it's really applicable in my industry that I'm in, is somebody told me, never believe your own press. And I thought that was great, because unfortunately in my industry I see a lot of people who do believe their own press, and it's never pretty. So when I can walk into a Starbucks and they go, oh, Mr. C, here's your drink. And it's on the house, then I'll have made it, and then I may believe some of my own press. But until then, you know, internet famous isn't really famous, I don't think. But I'd love to know what you guys have, what's some of the best advice that you have been given. Elisa says it was her who said that. Okay. Thanks, Elisa. Don't believe my own press. Elisa keeps me humble. We do if you don't know who Elisa is, she works for Tailwind. We do a show every other Thursday for Tailwind about Pinterest and stuff. And then we're actually starting up a new show every, I think, Tuesday. So we have one tomorrow, so make sure you check that out. So Lisa has a great quote. She goes, this is what her lesson was, is either work for free, donate your time, or charge full price. That is great. Yeah, Eric says, don't believe Jeff C's press. Yeah. So that's, because it's usually bad press, Eric. So don't believe it. So we're just rounding the top part of that hat. And we'll put that brim on a little bit later. Elisa says her best business advice she was given was learn to say no. You know, that sounds so easy, but I don't know how many years have I been in business for myself? Quite a few, 12? So that was when Avery was more than that. Anyway, I still struggle with that, saying no. And you know, especially during this kind of time when I told Jody the other day, because of the live video stuff that I do, and I sometimes feel like I know how to drill a well, and the town has just run dry of water because it feels some of that way. So I've gotten a lot of calls lately, and I really want to help as many people as I can. And it's hard because a lot of people are suffering and don't know what to do. But it's hard to say no, especially to friends that you've followed for a while or know through different things. So I keep looking at the top and trying to round that down a little bit. So Lisa goes, except to me, always say yes when I ask for things. Okay. It's certain people. Oh, Eric has a great one. He says, keep a group of trusted advisors who see what you can't. And that's good. And full disclosure, Eric and I have been in a mastermind that we meet every Monday, and it's 4 years now? And those guys keep me honest. And hopefully I keep them honest too. But yeah, that's super important to have people. No, I don't know how to drill. I have not drilled my own well, Elisa. I do have a well, but I don't. I have one for the zombie apocalypse, in case. I'll have water. So you can see right there is part where I did the when I did the bandsaw. So I've got to take it down at least to get that part out because it looks funky. So Rhonda says that's gold. Yeah, it is gold. What Eric said, having a trusted piece of advisors, and I've got also have good friends in the industry who I feel like have mentored me throughout the journey. I've talked about Peg Fitzpatrick before. She, back in the old Google Plus days, didn't have, she still is huge numbers and big brands, and she really helped when I didn't know what I was doing. So tips for finding a good mastermind. Do you just start one with friends? Jeff, I threw you out. I didn't throw you out. We were in one and it just kind of disbanded. Usually so the one that I've been meeting with for 4 years is the mastermind for that. It happened kind of organically, and sometimes those are the great, really good ones. But some of them, I paid for some. I was in Kim's, and that was a paid group, and it was worth it. So got to meet people like Rhonda, and then that led to business. And so there's different types of masterminds you can be in. Just depends on where you're at and where you want to go and what you want to do. What are you willing to do at that time in your life? But it's also fine to get out of a mastermind if it's not working. Like we did, Elisa. It's fine. Let's see. I have to round this one off quite a bit. Yeah. Eric says curate those relationships. And when he says that, he's not saying, you're not being sleazy about it. Because some networking, it sounds like you're collecting people like stamps or something. Like, hey, I've got this many contacts and I'll ask them to do something. It's not how it works. It's curating the ones that you feel an affinity for, that align with your compass. Those are the ones you want to protect and really nurture. In fact, that's to be honest, is why I joined Kim's, was because I had seen her online for years and been to some of her free groups, and I liked how she sold things. It didn't feel, because so many people, so many ways in this industry can get really, they just make me feel yucky, and Kim never did. And I was like, that's what I want to learn how to do better. And so I think finding people who align with you that way, that's a great piece of advice that Eric gave. Don't tell him I said that. That's pretty smart. So this is the hardest part, getting, not taking too much off, but making sure it looks nice. And you don't have to make it perfect, but your snowman you made into a kid weren't perfect. Eric won't tell. So I'll round this down, and then the thing with the scarf, it's pretty much with a V-tool. I'll sketch it out, and I'll go around it with the V-tool and knock it out that way. This hat is really hard wood. Sometimes you get some wood that's really, it just is a lot denser than maybe what you've done before. Like this top is really, really hard. So Eric goes, what's the best business advice you've given someone who has asked you for it? Like a paid consult kind of thing? Or, let me see. I'm trying to think. The best business advice I gave. It depends, but I think a lot of, so the best business advice I ever gave probably was, this is one that I need to follow more of, but is being consistent on whatever you do. I guess, I think that would probably be that's thrown out there a lot, but I would say that's one that you'll see the people who succeed, especially in my space where I'm at. One thing they do. So I think back, I had been following like Pat Flynn before he even had a podcast, when he was just blogging. And he is a perfect example of somebody who has constantly been consistent. Mike Alton's another one. He's been blogging forever. That's so hard. I'm going to do a couple more passes on my, make sure it's super sharp. So the winner of the first one of these right here is going to be George. George, of course, has been to almost one of this. And, of course, the one I announced, he's not here. But he has been sharing and done some creative stuff sharing. So George wins this penguin. And I'll wait and tell you who when we get back to about 10 minutes, who the second person is who wins the other penguin. And I have another surprise that I'll be given towards the end as well. So he's still he's got two fat cheeks. I gotta round those up a little bit. Yeah, George. Yeah, absent. George better show up. He usually does. This is usually his dinner time. No, I'm not going to be that stickler. See right here, you can see the marks from the band. Oh, you can't really. Let's see. You can see the marks from the bandsaw right there. So I'm going to have to round that out a little bit more. Yeah, the snowman. Lisa goes, he looks like the snowman has been into the quarantine snacks. You could leave him fat and he could be a birdie snowman. Oh, he'll be fat, but I don't want him to look like he's square. Like I need some roundness to him. You can't have a skinny snowman. My dad carved a really cool one. It has he drilled in it, and he has little twigs. He went out and found the yard, so it has actually twigs in it. So Lisa goes, do you ever do cardinals? I have not done one. I've seen some really good bird carvers. My wife's uncle carves duck decoys, and they're amazing. I mean, so the feathers look really soft. I may have to do a cardinal sometime. I've never done it. All right, Lisa, have fun walking the dogs. Thanks for stopping by. You don't know. You could have won something, but see ya. You have one of my penguins anyway, so that's why you're probably taking off. Gotta be real careful around this nose. Here's another time where I'm kind of doing it at the same time, twisting and using my thumb to kind of guide it into some of these tighter areas. I need to take some, see that's not, this brim still needs to be worked down a little bit. I think that's what's fun about carving is that, most of the time I don't get it done like in a night unless I'm like camping or something. And it's this slow progress you see and kind of think about like what you're going to do next. It's kind of the fun process. All right, the second winner is, I said around 10 minutes. It's going to be the second one here because she's been doing such a great job sharing stuff out and doing so many things. Is Carrie Ray. She's usually here. I think she was here earlier. But she won the second one. So George and Carrie are the winners of the penguins. But I do have a special surprise for the winning something else here at the end when we get down to how about a banjo tune by me, huh? Well, someday I may pull out the old 5-string and do a special. So, how often do you wear out your carving knives, Lisa asks. I haven't ever worn them out. I guess theoretically you could polish them down to, you'd use them so much, but I've got a couple of them that I could use, but I haven't. They'll get dull, and I have actually dropped one where I've had to chip it and then I've had to grind it down, but I haven't ever worn them out. Oh, Carrie, you say you're honored, but you have done so. You show up to almost my lives wherever I'm at. So on other channels as well. So you deserve it. So I'll get your, I'll message you or something to get your mailing address and get it to you. It might be a little bit before I hit the mail. I don't think I have any UPS bags, but if I do, I'll do that. But if not, I may have to wait and get some and send them to you. It'll be before Christmas, though, I promise. I'd love to get one of your snowmen for Kim. Hope Kim's not watching, Rhonda. I'm sure we can work something out. Yeah, Kim bought all my stuff one year. I think she bought like 10 or so penguins that I had. I give a lot away as Christmas gifts. I don't know why I like doing Christmas ones so much. I guess it's because Santa has a beard, which that's cool. And it's just one of my favorite times of the year. Well, awesome, Carrie. You are awesome. You deserve one. So I'm just doing that. That's why I wear this thumb thing, is going back here, trying to thin up the brim of the hat. Because it takes all year to make them. It could be. I still have a Christmas bear that I haven't finished painting yet, that I was going to give away. I'm not sure what I'll do after the snowman. Got a couple patterns. A couple I haven't tried. I think I may, if I can get if I have the right size wood, I may do. I only have done one of these. I like to do another one because I like to do a couple to practice. But I really like the antiquing and the overalls on this guy, and I like doing these because they don't have hands to worry about. So I may do another one of those because those are always fun. So I'll keep on the snowman. This is just really, really hard right here. So about 5 minutes, and then we'll give away the second surprise, third surprise. So we've had some good business advice from people. I'm trying to think of anything else. I guess some of it's almost the golden rules. You want to treat your, we've all probably had clients who are jerks, or bosses that were jerks, and I think you almost learn some good lessons when you have a bad client or boss. You learn that I am never going to treat somebody that way. So I don't know. It's just different. So Lisa asked, what makes the wood that hard? Is it the knot or the way trees go? Sometimes you can get knots. Like I had one when we were doing this one, and just a little knot there. Most of the time on this basswood, it's pretty clean. At least the stuff where I get it from. But sometimes it's just dense, or it may just be the way the grain is. But end grain's always hard to carve anyway, because that's what like butcher blocks are made out of. A lot of times they'll stack on the end grain and glue those together because it's just harder. And so you just have to go slower. And I'm trying to be real careful and not snipping off this this hat, which is easy to do if it goes the wrong way. Ooh, that's a good quote. So Eric goes, good artists borrow, great artists steal. That's Jeff Goins talks about that a lot. See, it kind of even split a little bit right there. It was on that end grain. How many things have you snipped off? Well, the biggest one was this guy was supposed to have a little more hat on him. It's supposed to have a little bit more rim, and you kind of see where it went off there. That's the one that slipped off and I went into my hand. So I set this down for a while and didn't carve it. So that was a 9 stitches and a good learning experience. That little Santa was. Oh, this is a great one from Eric. Eric's like on a quote thing today. He goes, find inspiration in the work of others, but don't be afraid to make your own thing using your unique voice. That's a great idea. What is that? It's nothing's new under the sun, but you don't want to steal stuff, but you sure can be inspired by other things. That's a great lesson. Man, it is hard right there. Hey, Kristen. Yeah, it wasn't fun. I was like, Emma, should I go to the emergency room? And I took a picture of it and sent it to, I have a friend who's a doctor who runs actually the ER here in town. And I said, should I come in? He's like, oh yeah. So I thought, I'll just tape it up. But there was like, it didn't bleed a lot, but there was like, I didn't see the bone, but fat was coming out on that fatty part of it was just kind of, I was like, yeah. So That was a good lesson to make sure you wear the right glove. It's about 1 minute. Made some progress. It just doesn't seem like a lot, but every day, move a little closer. There we go. All right, about 30 seconds. We're getting that hat rounded down. Yeah, and this one's just it's hard. Yep, there's a world of difference. This is Lisa. Yep, there's a world of difference between theft and being inspired. C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien inspired each other, and how dim would our world be without either of their works? That is a great quote to end it tonight with. That's awesome, Lisa. Thank you for sharing that. Wow, that's deep. That's true, and they did. Well, they were the Inklings, weren't they? That they would meet in that pub and share story ideas and what they'd been working on. So the final thing that I was going to share with you guys, I'm going to give this away. It's not painted yet, but we'll have a painting session and then I'll give it away. But I wanted to give this one to Liz Wilcox, who has been coming to all my lives and been sharing this out. So Liz will win the No-See-Um Santa when we get that painted. And we'll be giving more stuff away. I think for the near future, whatever I'm carving, I'll probably end up giving away to the people who share it out the most or do the most creative shares. Yeah, Eric goes, man, I could go to, he said I could go to a pub. And Lisa says, let me get out of my carving cam here. She goes, she's been to that pub. That is cool, Lisa. I would love, if you happen to have them, is any photos you have, drop them in the comments, because I would like to see that pub. Especially if you've been there. That's super cool. So Carrie's been there as well. Yeah, drop your pictures in. I would love to see that where the Inklings met. I still haven't watched that new Tolkien movie where it was talking about, it was the guy who played Beast in the X-Men, the new X-Men. He's Tolkien. I haven't watched that one yet, and I want to. So thank you guys for spending half an hour with me as I carve and ramble and we talk together. That's always been fun. 4 things I want you to always remember. We are apart, but we're not alone. Number 2, wash your hands. Number 3, hug them if you can. Hug those people around you if you're able to in your house. And lastly, say a prayer for our doctors and nurses on the front lines with this going on right now. And with that, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching the Whiskered Woodcarver. Appreciate you guys. Bye now.